I listened to a guy called Sam George. Actually, some people drew my attention to a video clip relating to Sam George.
Thank you very much.
Invited to somewhere that looked like EU Parliament or United Nations.
A husband of one woman.
And when I listened to this young man, I sat down
and an elected member
quietly,
of Ghana's parliament.
and something began to ring in my head.
I believe that the right
It reminds
family
me
and determined same is a right
of myself
that accrues to
as a
everyone
student,
within the context and
undergraduate,
spirit of the 1992
University
Constitution
of
the Republic
Ibadan,
Ghana,
Nigeria.
the African Charter on Human and People's Rights,
I have
the
this
UN
habit
Universal
at that
Declaration
time
of Human Rights, and several
of
other
questioning the
recognized
authority
international treaties like the International
of
Covenant
what
on Civil
I'm
and
being
Political
taught,
Rights and the International
questioning
Covenant on Economic,
indirectly
Social, and Cultural Rights.
that
75 years
the
after
professor
DBHR,
is
the
wrong.
spirit and letter are more poignant
So
than
I'll
at
stand
any
on my
other time
feet
in our history.
after
time in our
being
world where
allowed
supposedly
to talk when I
progressive
signal I want to
are
talk.
agitating for a redefinition of the
And then the
corporate
professor
codes
will
of
say,
what
"What do you want to say,
family
Mr. Ali?"
and represent in a somewhat regressive manner.
And then I'll
The
start.
genuinely
I
progressive
will talk
voices, like those in
because
this
I
room,
was an
must rise in
activist,
defense of
student
family,
union,
its
and I
values
will
and
start
protection.
referring to
The concept
Socrates,
of the
to
natural family is under
Aristotle,
attack,
to
and a
Plato,
siege
to
is being attempted
Archimedes,
on the spirit
to
of the
all the
Declaration
Greek
of Human Rights.
philosophers. I'll be
Let me
saying
be clear
Latin
here
and
now,
that.
sirs
In
and
those
ma'am.
days, the thing is in our
There is a
head.
distinct difference between sex
The
and
professor who
gender
is in
or
a
gender
hurry to
identity.
finish his lecture
A
and go
pseudo war
away.
being waged by some against
After
society
listening to
premised
me
on this
and getting
obfuscation
bored,
and literal obliteration of the distinction
he then
between
shook
sex
his
and
head.
gender.
He said,
Sex is a
on one
biological
occasion, the
construct
professor
that
said,
transcends race,
"Why do you
ethnicity,
like
religion, and jurisdictional
saying
jurisprudence.
nonsense
Sex is binary.
with
You're either
confidence?"
male or female.
I love your
What determines
confidence
this
because
at the
most people in
moment
the
of
class
conception?
cannot even
A
look at the
fetus carries
professor in
either
the
the
face, talk
XX
less
or
of
XY
talking.
chromosome, determining whether it
You
belongs to
have
male to
that
male.
confidence, but
From
you
my
seem
beloved
to
Ningo
be
Pram Pram
stupid
constituency in
too.
Accra, Ghana, to New York,
You get
and more
up and
degenerate
say
Madrid or
nonsense.
Delhi to Perth, the interpretation
So,
of X, Y, and XX
when I
is
listen to
constant.
Sam George,
Gender or gender
I
identity, on the other
realize
hand,
what I
is a
was
social
doing with the
construct
professors.
that has evolved on the peculiarities of various
Sam
societies.
George was
From the onset
invited
matching the
by
binary
some
nature of sex, we see
bigots,
different recognitions of gender today across the world.
Christian,
There is no universality in the
superstitious
concept of gender
bigots
or gender identity,
who
and it is highly
have
fluid.
found their way
And as such, gender or
into
gender
the
identity
United
cannot
Nations or
form the basis for
Parliament, and they
any
organized to
rights
bring this
accruing in
man.
a covenant, a
Ghana
convention,
government
or
paid for
international
it, and
treaty
he
which seems
traveled
equally
there
acceptable and binding
to go
because we have
and
different
defend his
interpretations.
position on
This
LGBT.
is the basis for my avowed position that the letter and spirit of the UN Universal
Ghanaians are
Declaration of
very,
Human
very
Rights is apt
superstitious.
and meets the
20%
needs
of
of our
Ghanaians
global
are in
world
the
today.
informal
It
sector,
emphasizes in Article 2
purely
of the
tribal.
rights, in Article 2,
And
the rights
therefore,
and freedoms in the
things
declaration,
scare
and it's
them.
clear that
Their
there can be
reasoning
no
is based on
distinctions made
emotion
based
rather
on
than
sex.
real
Yes,
common
it
logic.
says sex, not gender
So
or
when
gender
you
identity.
tell Ghanaians
This is a
things,
definite
they
position
take
and must
things
be
to the
defended by all
extreme
progressive
because
forces.
of their
The
level
UDHR in
and their
Article
situation,
16.1
which
makes
we
yet
are
another actual
working
position
hard
that I
to
cherish
address.
and implore all of us to hold fast and hear.
So, in his
That the
submission,
right to marry and
the
found a
man
family
who
shall be
described himself
between
as a
men
member of
and
Ghanaian
women of
Parliament,
full age,
representing
without prejudice
Ningo
to their
Pram Pram,
race,
who
nationality,
is
or
a
religion.
Christian by
Yes,
faith,
it says men and
and
women,
therefore
not men and men,
he is a
or women and women.
superstitiously
Yet again,
religious
this is
on
another
Christian
reinforcement
line.
of the principle of sex and not
Sam
gender.
George
As a
was
proud
using
African,
certain
Article 2 of our
phrases
African Charter on Human and People's
that
Rights
we
also
need to be
echoes the
mindful
principles
of.
of enjoyment of rights
Put
without
the
prejudice to
issue
sex
of
and not gender.
his faith,
As Africans,
in other
the
words,
role of the
belief,
family is cardinal to our
based on
society and
superstition
its
regarding
well-being.
the
To
sodomy
reinforce
and the
this, Article
Gomorrah
18
and
of the
the,
African
all those
Charter
nonsense.
recognizes the
Put it
family as
aside.
society's natural unit and basic.
I will have been arguing on
It
the
imposes a
basis
responsibility
of
on member states in the African
transmission
Union
disease,
to protect the
and that
physical health
as
and
a
morals of
country
the
we
family.
don't have the
Yes, it said
means.
morals of
And
the
these
family.
particular
It
people
declares
are
the
found
family as the custodian
to
of
be
morals and
associated with
traditional values
promiscuity,
recognized by the
and
community.
therefore,
The Charter says
because
there
we
is
don't
no
have the
ambiguity
medical
here, that the
facilities, we want to
values of
contain this.
family as a
Then
union
some of
between a
us will
natural
come to
born
say,
man and
why don't
woman
we deal with
must be
all
protected by
sexual
all of us.
activities in
Against this
general?
backdrop, together with 7 of
Prostitution,
my colleagues in the
child
Ghana
sex,
Parliament, I'm sponsoring a
everything.
private members bill
They are illegal
titled The
anyway.
Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights
That is not what
and
Sam
Ghanaian
George
Families
is saying.
Values Bill
Sam George
2021
is
in Ghana's
standing
parliament.
on one thing, It's not
In
even talking
conclusion,
about
I reference the
productivity.
critical role that a family plays
Because
in the
when we say our
development of
population
society
is
through the
growing
development,
and we
education,
don't
and
have
upbringing
enough
of children.
resources to keep these
Article
people,
18, 3 and 4 of the International
too many
Covenant on
children,
Civil
we
and
can
Political
see
Rights
there's no resources to
declares
take care of
respect
them.
for the liberties of parents
That is the
and
argument
legal
we will
guardians
make, that the
to ensure their
LGBT will not
children's
produce babies.
religious and moral
But Sam
education
George is
in
pro
conformity with the
creation
convictions of the
and
parents and
therefore
legal
more
guardians.
babies.
This right is not
Then that
given to an
argument too can
educational
be made
board
on that line.
or a pressure
But
group
Sam
or a
George is
government.
insisting
It is the
that
sole right
marriage
and reserve of parents
must be
in the
between
family
a
unit.
man
Ladies and
and
gentlemen,
a
here
woman.
gathered
So
at the
he's
UN headquarters
against
in New York,
same-sex
the family
marriage.
must remain respected
And then on
recognized
the
as
other
union
hand,
between natural
he
born
was
men and women
talking
of full
about
age,
his
who have the right
sex
and
at birth.
responsibility to
That is
determine
what
by
he
their
recognized
beliefs
as
and
a
in conformity
person's
with the
gender.
generality of their community,
And they can
the
be any
details of the religious
fluidity.
and moral
In
education of
other
their children
words,
in a manner
Sam
that
George is
respects
saying
communal
that
norms of
he
public
believes
safety,
in the
public
principle
order,
of the X
public health,
chromosomes
public
and Y
morality,
chromosome.
and the
The
fundamental
two
rights
are
and freedoms of the
standing
majority of
parallel.
their community.
There's
I thank
no
you.
confusion between the two. So these are his three cases. I want to take them one after the other and debunk all his arguments. Remember to give me the follow, like, and share so that Sam George will be taught something. He's a minister for communication and digitalization, and I don't know the nonsense they are doing there. Now, listen to me carefully. When Sam George said he is a husband and he has a wife, and that marriage is between a man and a woman, what Sam George is saying is that the only time we consider something as marriage in Ghana is between a man and a woman. Can you see? Good. That means Sam George is referring to formal marriage, because in the formal marriage, you go to register yourself and you are given a marriage certificate. It's always one man, one woman. There is no formal marriage anywhere in the world where you have a certificate with one man, three wives. So Sam George is talking about himself alone. The only person in Ningo Prampra that has done that formal marriage. So here Sam George is confusing formal marriage with all marriages. Whereas in Ningo Prampram and Ghana at large, you can have one man with four wives. One man, three wives. One man, two wives. Some of us even suspect there are cases of one woman, three men. They live. Some of them have children. You have three children with three men. Yes. In sociology, I think we have a name for it. That is not what I'm talking about here. Yes, some societies do it. And it's likely to be in Ghana. One man, two, three wives, or four wives. One woman, two, three, four husband. They are there. You think she's a prostitute. She's having babies. And they all are a family. So which family is Sam George talking about here? Is Sam George talking about formal, official family based on formal marriage? Or Sam George is talking about the informal marriage where a man can have two, three wives without any documentation? And they'll be having children. So Sam George misled the people he went to talk to, because the people he's talking to in the society where they are is one man, one wife, and you register it. Yes, but we also know there are women in Europe who live on their own and three, four men come to them. They live in their flat. You all will bring money. Everybody's children will be taken care of. They have them in Europe, but it's not a marriage. That is a relationship in Europe. So in Ghana, if Sam George is talking about marriage, then there's a big question mark. Marriage in Ghana is both formal and informal. And the informal one is the one where you don't need any documentation. You just bring some people, give them shinap, finish. The day you don't like it, do away with her. It is very, very common in Ghana. So which of the marriage is Sam George talking about? That a man marrying a man is now the reason why you should tell people lie that marriage in Ghana is between one man and one woman. He said a man and a woman. He didn't say a man and woman. And we say a man and woman, it means the 3 women and 1 man. Or 1 woman, 3 men. A woman and man. That is not what Sam George is saying. So Sam George misled the people because they were looking at their own situation and accepting what Sam George was telling them. Another blunder.
Okay.
The definition
Someone asked me that
of gender based
like this
on
question,
X
this
and
particular
Y
question is
chromosome,
plenty. I said a lot of people are asking
when did
this
Sam
like
George
say,
became a biologist?
how do you feel when you go out
How
with
did
all this beard and
Sam George doesn't know that?
do you know
Unlike
the feeling?
physics,
Say
mathematics,
you are not a celebrity,
chemistry,
but
where
which
1
man will
plus
be
1
assured.
is 2.
That
Always
feeling
1
will
plus
be assured.
1.
As soon as you
In
pass them,
physics,
everybody will
chemistry,
be turning their head looking at you.
mathematics is always 2.
When
When
you
you
move
move
sister,
into the social sciences, 1 plus 1
like people be admiring
in
you.
economics, 1 plus 1 is
feeling.
always not 2. I'm an economist.
I
And I
don't
want
feel
to tell
say because I have beard
when you come to the law of
I
nature,
walk with
we
confidence.
do have anomalies.
You get it? Because
Where 1 plus 1 is not 2.
it's a blessing.
X and Y is not
So the feeling
equal
is
to
nice.
a boy.
It's okay.
X and Y is not equal to a girl.
Enjoying.
Don't
Let
you
me
know
say
about
it like
Y
that. It's
and the
enjoying.
Y chromosome
Yeah.
and X
You
and
can
Y
even
chromosome
cause
and Y
traffic.
and Y chromosome?
They
Oh, no,
are
no.
Danny dating no
They
more
are
shot.
only trying to explain things that is not easy. We saw a girl. This girl has a child and she had a beard. We saw the breast and she had hair on her chest. So many of them in Ghana. So many in Nigeria. So what is Sam George talking about? What happened to his X and Y definite chromosomes? These are the people who are telling us about Adam and Eve and God. This is why I wrote my book, my revised version of Adam and Eve, because we are sick of people like Sam George who have limited the concept of gender. We said there's a problem with this thing. Gone are the ancient time when people couldn't have explanation for what is albino, sickle cell, leprosy, sexual, I'll call it anomaly, because normally it's a man and a woman, a boy and a girl. They mate and they reproduce themselves. But there are situations that a man and a man, a woman and a woman will want to be together because what we saw in them is not exactly what they are. Because there's more to what a person is than what you see. So, Mr. Sam George, when they are telling you that sex can be fluid, please calm down your high horse. Stop that arrogancy because your bigotry. Now, you were defending the indefensible. The very man sometimes ago that was defending LGBT now became a man that is even ready to commit genocide in defending the Anti LGBT Bill. He took it to Parliament. Why? Because they were looking for opportunity to do away with the National Patriotic Party in Parliament, in government. Now here we are. Please and please, Mr. Sam George, go back. If you have not seen anything, you are a baby. I'm older than him anyway. And I want to tell you, please, go back to your shell and think. In Ghana, a man live with 5 women, 4 women, 2 women, 3 women. They are called a family. So your definition of a family of a man and a man is baseless.